that will be useful for you. So without further ado, Melanie is going to come up here and then we'll get started.
Thanks, Lauren. Okay, so I want to share a little bit with you about what, we last year said we were camping. We may have upgraded our tent to an RV, but we still have not exactly, we're not permanent yet. So go ahead and, I need to move over. We're trying to film this for people, for you all to have reference in the future. So these are our partners for this year, but I can tell you that we are having a lot of interest from other funders, and so this group will grow, so we're very excited about that opportunity. Every one of them is interested in high-quality programs, and they're eager to see what all you all are doing. So there we have it for, at the moment. This is year 2. Go ahead. Sorry, I don't have this slideshow committed to memory. But what I think we want to talk about is how the 3-year pilot, just a reminder of, this is the first time really that funders are collaborating in this way. Many of you who went through the process with us last year know that we all did the best we could. And so that was the pilot. This is the beta year. We took your feedback and feedback from funders, and we made some changes. As I said, we might have some pretty wide swings over these next 3 years, or next 2 years, and then we hope by 2018 to have reached what we're calling a steady state, because like you, we always want to stay in a continuous cycle of improvement. Okay. And what's eligible for funding? Same thing as last year. High quality STEM direct programming, as well as strategic kind of grants or capacity if you need that. There's some funders that want to do that, and field lifting activities in terms of what can you do to help everybody in the room in addition to just your program. So kind of like our yarn activity. We'll be using the dimensions of success, again, the Harvard instrument for evaluating program quality. And one thing let me just say a note here, because we've had a lot of conversations with funders about this and with many of you. The ratings are numbers, yes, but the better idea is to understand the rubric and to be on a continuous cycle of improvement like we talked about. So whether you get a 1 or a 4 on the Likert scale, the point is to have, if you have a 1 or a 2, an improvement plan. And the other thing is, if you're constantly trying new things, you should expect to have 1s and 2s occasionally. Nobody's perfect out of the gate. Isn't that what we teach in the engineering? Fail better, fail and fail better and fail faster, but keep it going up and up. So the 1s and 2s are not evil. That just means that you're trying something, trying new things. Okay. What we set out to do in 2015 was to try to get these funders to collaborate, to provide resources to help everybody, and to also we participated in the outcomes pilot. So we looked at those 2 common indicators. There was a subset, I think 10 grantees that participated in the outcomes pilot. We were one of 4 cities in that. That's the second instrument from Harvard, and I think we're going to spread that. We're still in talks with them, and it looks like everybody would be engaged in that for this next year. They're making some changes to that instrument as well, okay? And then what happened was we funded 20 programs with almost $1 million. So that doubled the amount of summer STEM funding from 2014 to 2015. So it's a great trend and trajectory, and we're hoping to keep that going for the next time. We also piloted improved class. We threw a lot at you guys last year. I realized that, and so one of our lessons learned is to maybe not throw everything in at the same time. And so, but thank you for bearing with us and for trying it. And so improved class was a crowdsourced professional development opportunity we were hoping that you guys could share and see each other's programs, because our feedback we had gotten was that you'd like to see what the other programs look like, and we thought video might be the answer. It was a little bumpy, but we got some feedback from you. I think that it'll be different going forward. And we had 2 meetups like this, kind of, so with the grantees, so that you can meet and share and learn about each other's programs and new resources in that way. And that was a change from the year before, where we tried 3 meetups, and the middle of the summer seemed to be not a good time to get everybody together, so we did beginning and end of summer. Okay. And we measured the program quality DOS observations, and this past summer we tried to give you feedback closer to real time. We had 2 observers instead of 1, and then they did a consensus feedback, and we shared it with you by the end of the week. And we found that that was helpful, or we heard that you guys found that helpful, because there was an opportunity to make some changes in progress there. So, and we have published our summer STEM report. That's the other thing. It's out just hot off the press this week. So it'll be up on our website with a lot, pages and pages of data. What is it, Mary? It's 39 pages? 40? And with an appendix from Harvard of all this. So dive in. Exciting reading. You can't sleep tonight. And then this is a chart from the Harvard report, the DOS ratings for this year. You can see these are the dimensions for organization, materials, space utilization. We're kind of lower in the STEM content learning right here and reflection, but these are just some of the things that the data showed this time. And another thing that was very interesting is this, because we saw a lot of Lauren and Marley, I don't know who Robin is, Lauren and Marley saw a lot of robotics activities, but not all of them rated very high in the key STEM areas like inquiry, reflection, and engagement with STEM and STEM content learning. So robotics does not necessarily mean plug and play, just add water, instant STEM, you know? It's a matter of, because some of the groups with higher ratings were using, I don't know, mud and sticks to teach scientific concepts. So it doesn't have to be high budget, and it doesn't have to be robotics. So this was just, we wanted to pull out, we asked Harvard to pull out the robotics scores from the others. So that was just an interesting piece. That's also in the report. Okay. So how the collaborative works behind the scenes. We explained this last year for those who didn't, as a reminder, and for new folks. We have that group of funders I showed you before. They will all have access to your applications. There will be some of the funders working to do the analysis of the applications and provide summaries and recommendations to the rest of the funders. Some funders may fund directly from their foundations, and some will contribute to a pool that will be decided by the pool funders. There was another piece of this, what was that? And we'll be funding through volunteers and equipment donation in addition to dollars, so the application asks all those questions. Okay. The application is again online this year, hosted by our friends at the Austin Community Foundation. Thank you to Shelby and Megan for making that. The funders have worked very hard this summer and this fall to go through and make changes based on feedback that we got through the process last year. So there's no small amount of effort to try to help you, but we only can help you to the extent that you share your feedback. So thank you for your candor in the past year. We will once again be kind of the single point of contact so that you're not hammered with questions from 14 or 15 funders. You know, we will come back to you with questions that any of the funders have. And then you would come to us and we can take those questions to the pool of funders. I hope that that makes it easier. Again, we welcome your feedback on that. And we are having the RFP, as you noticed, earlier this year because we want to have more funders collaborating, which means more dollars for this work, which means we are trying to figure out how to make it work on the back end with a lot of different foundations that all have different board meeting schedules and that kind of thing. So the announcements, we're still giving March 31st as the absolute end time. If we can get it done faster than that, we will. But in our effort of bringing in more people, we wanted to make sure there was time to give the right kind of due diligence and consideration, and then the mechanisms of the funding in the background. Again, the application is still based on the CTEF common application that you all do. As last year, there's not a goals section like there is in step 2 of the CTEF application, but there is a logic model, which actually the step 2 goals of that application came from a logic model design, so we're just back to the future on that. And then what else? We want to see dosage and duration. There's a program quality section that's new this year. It's new just on the application, but there's nothing new about it. We're just asking you to consider having someone, or we're strongly recommending having someone in your program certified in the DOS instrument, which means you would need to include that in your grant request. It's a whopping $250 to get somebody certified. What we found this past year is there were some groups who had been proactive and gotten somebody certified or may already have known about the tool, and it was easier to talk about what we were seeing in program in terms of quality and comparing across when there was a common lexicon, common language, common understanding of the rubric. And the other piece is, you've asked us for the rubric, we can't share it, it's property of Harvard. So in order to see the rubric, certification in the DOS is what you would have to do. So that's that piece. And, okay, next. And also, oh, here, I was one step ahead of myself. The other piece that we talked about over the summer with many of you was, and this happened with the improved class pilot, there just wasn't time for instructors to view the videos or to take the videos. One thing that we looked at as we were doing our summer STEM report, the higher performing programs, regardless of DOS scores, if it was a 1 or 2 in your different domains, the ones who were consistently high quality are the learning organizations that provided professional development throughout the summer for their staff, not just a week of intensive before. So it's a chance to get together with the instructors. I'm not saying, we're not as funders saying this is what you should do. You all are the educators. We're just saying what we observed, that there are groups that had either weekly or daily, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy or big, just feedback and a discussion, a chance to reflect for the instructors. Also, when we provide some of these strategic opportunities, like the KLRU opportunity, like improved class, it's great to have that time built in for the seasonal employees. We understand that there's a great deal of churn with the people that actually do the instructing, the college students, graduate students. You don't have them year over year. But the real benefit of some of these opportunities we're trying to share, it seems to would be for the instructors, not necessarily your grant manager or your program director or your, it's some of those folks. So what we are strongly suggesting is you build in time in your budget for professional development for your staff. We were at the Grant Makers for Education conference this past week, and Lauren and I sat through presentation after presentation about out-of-school time, best practices, and professional development. And maybe it seems like the starfish analogy, you're saving one, you're training one instructor, they're gone, you have to do it again the next year. Well, we can't just complain about that. Let's find a way to just make it work. And if that means building in time every time, then we just do it and do it. Next. Budget attachments. Last year, you may remember, we had 3 project budgets and all this stuff. Well, one of the main reasons we did that is because we wanted to give some guidance around how much to ask for, and some programs need more or less or whatever. And so we tried that, and it was very complicated for you all, it was complicated for us. But what we got to after this year, and I think that was just something we had to do as the first year, this year now we know the average grant last year was $46,000. So there's our mark in the sand that we didn't have last year. And now you just do one single program budget for your summer STEM program. We will also need your organizational budget, and as always, the summer STEM program budget can't be more than 40% of your organizational budget. And as with any grant request, there's no guarantee, but ask away and ask for what you need. And another note, just a little asterisk on the budget thing. The funders understand that high quality programs, you get what you pay for in many ways. So there are pieces, as long as you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it and how it contributes to the value of the program for the students at the end of the day, then it belongs in your budget. Let's see. Okay, these are the technical aspects of the application. Internet Explorer, or as some of us like to call it Internet Explorer, is the best browser to use it. I understand it will work with most any of the other browsers except for Google Chrome. Is that right, Shelby and Megan? Okay. know what's going to happen to you. So, our suggestion is that you work offline in a document. There's a way you can print out the questions in a PDF format or something like that, or you can just, however you want to do it, collaboratively across your organization, work in a Word document and get it all correct that way, have everybody sign off on what you're saying, then paste it all in. That'll be a lot easier for you, and you won't have to worry about it crashing or losing anything. Again, a logic model is required, and just pay close attention. We have put word counts in. Again, we are all better when we edit, and so just being able to say concisely what you need to do is you know, people who don't edit have not really given the same amount of thought to it as people who have edited, and you know this when you read poorly edited books. So the word count limit, pay attention to that as you're working in your Word document. The beauty of most word processors like Word is that it has a word count feature so you can see how you're doing. And then also pay attention to what are the required attachments and make sure that they're all included, because that is what completes your application. Yes.
Sorry, I'm back here. So I'm Megan from Austin Community Foundation. Just a couple other tips. If you have applied for a grant through the Austin Community Foundation, it's your same login. So if you already have an account through that, and you've got to get, you don't have to start a new one. If you can't remember what your password is, put your email address in, there's a forgot password. If you don't get anything back from the system, it means you don't have an account. So start a new one. We will be tech support, which is hilarious. But give us a call. Give us a call if you need help. We're happy to help troubleshoot with you. But just I just wanted to put it in that if you apply through the Austin Community Foundation, it's the same portal.
That's great, and Megan will, and Shelby will help with the technical questions. As she said, they were great last year. Yes, okay, so also, there's a common application. We're working with the common indicators, which are the DOS, program quality, the Harvard Common Instrument outcomes. There's a financial metric that is common. The other grantee-specific indicators are the ones that we pull from your logic model. So you are the ones who give us those for your evaluation matrix, and that way it's the same report that goes back. No matter who funds you, that's the report. You also will have a common contract. We did this last year. If multiple funders directly come together to fund you, you'll get one contract. The idea being you have one application, one contract, one evaluation report. We hope that makes it easier for you. We are paddling like crazy under the water to make it easy for you. And then, I think that was that. Go ahead, the next slide. Is for additional support this year, we're excited. We'll be doing 2 meetups again. That seemed to work for everybody, beginning of summer and end of summer. We have already, we're asking on the application if you'll consider having someone in your program certified for the DOS. And Lauren has already secured a date in May that is just ours for a DOS training. Is that right, Lauren?
No, I have it on my calendar to contact.
Oh, okay. Well, they've agreed that they will help us.
Yeah, Harvard is going to host a DOS certification just for grantees, and it will take place in May, and we'll have that date solidified by January.
Okay, so I was close. We have a month, and it's just you guys, and we'll let you know the date. Improved class, Lauren and Amber have worked really hard with the feedback that you all shared at our second meetup this year, and have talked with Bradley at Improved Class, and the funder collaborative decided to try a beta version of this, and he is going to make some modifications and tie the Improved Class to the DOS domains, with the idea that you could videotape a segment of your program and indicate in there which domain or what exact feedback you're looking for about that little segment, and then people can share feedback with you.
This will also be tied to instructors. Instructors this year will have access to Improved Class, so it won't just be the responsibility of the program managers to come in and videotape every instructor. The instructors can have their own login this year.
Right, so it's democratized in that way. And yes, I think, was there anything else on that?
Well, P.S. on Improved Class, you all that were past grantees this summer, you actually
everybody. And so we'll try it again, and if it proves to be a value, then we can look at that, and if not, but we felt like we should try it another time. So the collaborative was in for that. There are opportunities for DOS certification, yes.
Do we have dates for any of these, the meetups or the project management workshop yet?
No, we don't, because we don't have any grantees yet. And we don't have, but that'll be, the project management workshop, okay, so I'm a little ahead of myself. The two DOS observations will happen for all the grantee programs with feedback within the same week. And then IBM is providing a project management workshop, which they did for this group 2 years ago, and it's available again for a subset of people. And the collaborative has not yet decided how that'll be rolled out, because it won't be, they can't take as many grantees as we will have, so we'll figure out how to do that. But that is another opportunity that would take place, and so again, all this is in response to feedback we got this past year that we had a whole bunch of stuff happening and nobody had heard about it before. So you're hearing about it now. We don't have specific dates yet. We're going to go through the grant process because we don't know who to invite. We don't know who the grantees are. Does that make sense? Okay, any other questions so far? Okay, next slide. What else do we have? It opens today. It closes December 21st, December 21st at 5 p.m. Central Time. And it's available at kdkharmon.org. Later today it'll be available. You're probably logging on now. Let me go. But it'll open later today. Thanks to Shelby and Megan and Mary Verhage at our office, the technical gurus that are making all the links work correctly and testing, and so that you don't have any problems when you log in. So that is the extent of the changes as they are for this year. It's not as many changes. It's hopefully a refinement of what we did last year. Are there any questions at this point? Okay. Well, you have our phone numbers, I'm sure. You can feel free to call or email us and let us know, and we will let you know on some of those wraparound activities as soon as we can.